So, Tom Brady, he's trending in football right now because he's planning to join Fox Sports to be the analyst for the network. And his deal is 4 years and 375 million, the largest ever for a television sports analyst. He's making way more, and I repeat, way more than Tony Romo and Troy Aikman, who are sports analysts themselves. And he'll be making more than his football playing career. So, Joe, what do you make of this crazy asinine contract for a position that he's never done before? And do you think he will succeed?
I think it's what you say, 375 for over 10 years. Is that right?
Correct.
So, I mean, that's that's good money. And it's interesting because I was reading that it was in response to Troy Aikman leaving, and the way that went down is what made them pursue Tom Brady so diligently. So I thought that was really interesting. As far as Tom Brady being successful, I think he'll be successful. In front of he's camera friendly. You know what I mean? He has a he does well on the camera, and I think he has a good personality. He knows quite a lot about football. I think he'll make a good announcer. I do think it's a little crazy that they're going to pay him so much right out of the gate, but he's Tom Brady, so.
I don't agree with the amount of money for the contract that they gave him because he doesn't have any experience as an analyst, as a broadcaster. I can't picture him being a broadcaster. Can't, not can, but can't.
Yep.
However, I started thinking about this. If we get Tampa, Tom Brady in the booth, I think it could work. But if we get Patriot Way, Tom Brady, it might not be so well. And you've noticed, like most of us have noticed who follow football, Tom Brady seems more loose and more cooler when he arrived in Tampa and currently in Tampa than he ever was when he was in New England. Look, I am not a Tom Brady fan. I'm not. He made my life miserable from a football standpoint since 2001. He's made me almost quit watching football, but it's going to be interesting to see him in the booth. I am not one of these hardcore, I hate Brady people where I don't want to see him on TV at all. I'm actually looking forward to what he will do in the booth, whether this will work or not. Because just because you were great on the field or that you play the game doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to work out when you go to broadcasting. Broadcasting is not as easy as it looks. And you and I, Joe, we have taken sports classes at Sports Management Worldwide. Shout out to them. I took a sports broadcasting course towards the end of 2021. I haven't tried broadcast. I mean, I've tried doing it, calling out games on my phone, practicing it for an assignment. It's very hard. It's very hard, because there's so many things that goes into it. It's very fast paced. You gotta make sure that you talk clearly. Your diction has to be right. It's just so many things that goes into broadcasting that you really have to perfect. It takes years of perfecting
Mhm.
It's not something that you're gonna master right away. I love Tony Romo as an analyst. I wasn't a fan of him on the field because obviously, he's a Cowboy and I'm a Giants fan. So,
Yeah.
but I absolutely love him and Jim Nance together. Him and Jim Nance are a great duo when it on NFL on CBS. He deserves that kind of money. I would say he deserves that kind of money. Troy Aikman, he's a smart guy. He knows football. He understands the game. But Tony Romo keeps you engaged because he shows passion. He gets hype. He's in the like he's like a kid doing analyst. So I love Tony Romo because of that, because of his passion, his intelligence. Trigman has intelligence, but he's just not entertaining like the way Tony Romo is. But for Tom Brady, let's see if this will work. I hope that he makes it a must-see TV. I mean, we're gonna be tuning in, but hopefully he keeps us, our eyes on the TV screen
Yep.
when he um does his job as a sports analyst.
Yep. It didn't work out so well for Jason Witten. He gave it a shot. It didn't work out. So you never know. Tony Romo, and speaking of Tony Romo, he got paid quite well coming right out of football as well. He got a pretty nice contract leaving the Cowboys. So, I can see this, these players are really getting paid a lot more. Aikman didn't make that much up until, this Romo got his big contract. And then Aikman started saying, hey, what about my contract? And Fox was, going back and forth. So Aikman publicly spoke out about it. And that's what supposedly made Fox get angry and start pursuing Tom Brady in such a aggressive fashion.
Well, and that's all I had to say about the subject. Is something that we just have to wait and see. And it's gonna be right after he retires. So if he would have stayed retired, then that could have happened this upcoming season. But it probably will happen in the 2023 season, 2024. Because with Tom Brady, you just never know. He's not missing a step. He doesn't look like um he's lost. He's Tom Brady. I mean, if it wasn't for Aaron Rodgers, he would have won the MVP last season.
Mhm.
So, um, but it'll be interesting to see how he will do in broadcasting after he hangs up the cleats.
Yeah, I personally, as far as Troy Aikman is probably my favorite of the other announcers that's out right now. And I don't know, I like Romo, okay, and he's fun to watch, and I like Jim Nance, but Joe Buck and Troy Aikman are definitely my favorite crew to watch. And maybe it's just because I watched Troy play for all those years, and I honestly, when I'm watching him call the games, I feel like I'm like we're in the same mind. Like Troy and I think on the same level when it comes to football. Except maybe it's because I'm a Cowboys fan. I watched him for so many years, but I like it because he keeps it real. He'll call out things on the field. He'll say, "Hey, I don't know what that guy is doing," or whatever, and I like that about it. And it doesn't matter who it is. He's not partial, to anyone. So I appreciate that about him. But yeah, I'm actually looking forward to seeing Tom when he does decide to play. I want to see him play. Obviously, one more year at least, but hopefully he'll go into and he'll get a ring this year. Go into the broadcast booth and call it a career. That'd be fun.